And today we have a very, very special guest, and that is Datin Zarida, the executive director of HABIB, which is one of my, I want to say, one of my favorite homegrown jewelry brands because I think one of the first pieces that I got was when I was a child, actually when I was a baby, and it was a gold chain from my parents, and I still have it till today. So it holds a special place in my heart, actually. Welcome along, Datin Sri. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You look super lovely today with really brilliant blues and purples and greens. It's a huge contrast to the very boring black that I've got, I have to say. And good to see you are back in the office. It's a huge sign of improvement with everything that's happening here, and I bet it's a good thing for you guys to be back in the office as well.
I got used to it, actually 3 months of staying home. I got used to it really. So it was a bit slow for me coming back to the office.
I guess that's one of the things about the pandemic.
Yeah, but it's good to be back.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, going straight into our hard hitting questions today, and of course with the pandemic in mind, I think one of the most surprising outcomes was luxury stellar performance over other categories. In fact, actually, luxury fashion search interest exceeded pre-COVID baselines, despite the continuous fluctuations in cases. Now, with jewelry, how do you think Habib has persevered to come out on top in this regard?
Well, actually, to my surprise as well, reading some reports and all that, hearing comments like all these luxury brands in the world, how they've increased their not only their sales but including prices too, right? In spite of that, they did very very well. A lot of brands. So for us in Habib, I would say that to a certain extent we were quite surprised actually, but because we've always focused on two main things with our brand, that is our customers, right? So we've always been focused on giving our customers value for money, customer service, and also I think with the pandemic, a lot of people also start looking at savings, how to spend their money more prudently, I suppose, right? So I think people started looking at things that don't only act as an adornment, but also as an investment, right? So our sales started picking up very well, and also because of our heritage brand, people have trusted our brands from generations. So even looking at the younger generations now, like you mentioned, right? Like, I'm sure like when you first purchase yours, perhaps your mom and your grandmother would have purchased something too, right? So it goes down the generation. Yeah. So that helped us a lot, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the whole idea of it being a heritage brand, and it's a sense of trust. I remember going into a boutique when I was a child. My mom had brought me in to like get my first necklace, I think, and customer experience. I think is definitely one of the key ingredients, especially for a luxury brand, right? But now that we've kind of pivoted online, how do you pivot, and how has Habib kind of adapted onto the online sales channel?
Amy, this is not very new for us because about maybe 20 years ago, if I remember correctly, we started selling online with Amazon. We partnered with Amazon actually, selling jewelry. And we were doing very well, surprisingly, with customers as far as America, Europe. I won't say that too many from Malaysia, because maybe back then people were not very sure about buying something without touching, looking at it, touching it, feeling it, right? So when this thing happened, for us is we could easily, move into quite smoothly. I think transition into going into online selling. But of course, we were not sure again of the market, right? Because we know people do buy a lot of other luxury products, but when it comes to jewelry, and because of our previous experience, we felt that we were ahead of time. So we were not sure whether Malaysians were ready. But yeah, they were, but of course they started off with smaller items, and but because of the trust in our brand, we also heard a lot from our customers that they felt comfortable to purchase our products online because they knew they know our brand, they know that we are trusting, they trust us, the quality, they are familiar with our quality, and on top of it all is our pricing, so they knew they were getting products that is of value for a good price, yeah. So it went quite smoothly, I would say, yeah.
Awesome. I think now it's a new generation of comments online. I was on your website actually the other day, just kind of browsing because I'm a shopaholic. I'm a self-confessed shopaholic. But I realized that you've also employed live shows with influencers online. Now, how has this adoption managed to future-proof your business?
When we opened our first outlet in KL, that it was in 1986, I think. So a few years after that, we embarked on going on radio channels, talking to audiences, to our customers, and talking about our products. And my husband, used to go on radio, and people would call in and complain about our products, and telling us that why did I believe this bangle and their Khmer, and but we took it. That was the whole idea, because we wanted customers to feel free to talk about our products to us, and if they have an issue with it, that gives us the opportunity to explain to our customers why it happens, right? And because the gold is softer for gold jewelry, but for diamond jewelry we use a harder gold to hold the diamonds, so. And from then on, we've also had several, I would say, several workshops, educating. We would invite our customers, for these workshops, and we would invite labs to come in, professionals as well, and we would have a microscope and all that, so that they can look at the diamonds. So that has always been our philosophy. That is educating our customers. Right? We want a well-informed customers, whether you buy from us or anywhere else, but we are sincere about educating our customers. We want our customers to be comfortable when they decide to buy something from us, and perhaps from then, that is one of the main reasons why we started doing live shows, having live, because then we can address customers' concern, and I mean, no business is perfect, right? So, but the more feedback we get, the better we can improve ourselves, right? To give back to our customers, right? Yeah. So we are not afraid of that. So by having all this live streaming, I think that is the main thing. And not only that, but customers can, because of the pandemic, people are locked inside. You can't go out. You can't, but people are very happy. These are feedbacks that we get from our customers, that to see someone talking, it's so that takes them away from the blues of the days, with children, with work and all that, then you have this segment for about half an hour that you sit down, you listen, you look at all these beautiful jewelries, right? And then when they put it on, or when on the fingers or on the wrist, the bracelet, talking, for example, talking about the bracelet, so people can actually visualize it, how it will look on them too, right? And they can also ask for the price, and they can decide for themselves, then that's okay, I decide to buy it online, from Zalora, for example, right? Yeah. So yeah, so it has always been our brand philosophy, really educating our consumers.
Yeah, and it also sounds like Datin was like the original influencer on the radio, the OG influencer. Maybe you could have another career as a radio broadcaster or something like that. But I digress. I digress. Now going back to the whole idea
No, no,
of
that,
live
I
streaming.
think that's a wonderful idea, you know. I mean, retire
Could
from here
be.
and do something different, right?
Yeah. I think it would be great if you actually and alongside that Street did live streaming for Habib. That'd be brilliant. That'd be an amazing concept. You guys are also not just the directors, but also the consumers and the face of it. So why not?
Yeah.
So going back to live streaming, do you think that the whole idea of it can help ease the complexities for luxury retail, particularly with high value goods such as jewelry?
I think more so with jewelry, right? Because people want to be assured, right? People want to see, people want to know if I'm paying, for example, 5,000 ringgit for a ring. I want to know that the ring is of this size and the diamond is of a certain size, and it's not that what I receive will be totally different than what I expect, right? Yeah. So I think our influencers that goes on live stream, they are also very well versed with the jewelry pieces, the quality of it and all that. Yeah. So, like for example, we have one of our influencers who's actually usually talking about, for example, gold, and we do our gold. For example, we are the first, actually, if not the only, that's done gold jewelry in Italy, for example, right? So she's been to the factory in Italy. She has seen how it's been made. The time and the quality that goes into it and all that. So when she's talking to the audience, to our customers, she can actually speak passionately about the products, and um, be very convincing as well, because she has seen the whole process of it. So we're not just saying it for the sake of saying, for the sake of sales, because again, like, we want our customers to trust our brand. Similarly with diamonds, we sell a lot of diamonds too, right, on Zalora and all that. Yeah. So we want people to know that we have got people who are qualified talking about the pieces, right, about the quality of the diamonds, yeah. And also, I think that's the gist of it, lah. Yeah. So we want customers to be very comfortable when they're buying something from us, and be assured that they're getting what they are paying for. Yeah.
I think you brought up something that's very important here, and perhaps a lot of retailers, there's a fine line between hiring influencers that are not just entertaining online, but also know what they're talking about. And I know it's not on the questions here, but I'm just very interested to hear what Habib or how Habib kind of approaches content in this regard. How do you balance education with entertainment in that sense? What are the factors do you look out for? And perhaps this is something for retailers to also pick out.
Contents, well, because we understand our customers very well, I think, and we put in a lot of effort actually to understand our customers. All right. And because of that, when you know who your audience are, and then you know what they want from you, right? Yeah. So it's easier, so you're able to give what they expect from you. You're not going off tangent talking about something else, right? Yeah. So, and also, I think, because again, like I said, our core values, for example, world class for less, meaning that we will give you world class products, because you can compare any of our products with any of the big international brands. You get exactly the same, but we promise you that you don't have to pay so much. Yeah. So that's world class for less. Yeah. And another core values of ours is honesty and sincerity. And so, which means to say that we expect, not just to tell people, but to be seen as well, that we're also doing it, practicing it. Yeah. So we live our core values in that way. So when any of our team members go on live or representing the company, they have to remember this. This is very, very important for us. And also the other thing, another one of our core values, I would say, is everyone is an entrepreneur. That means to say we tell all our team members that this is your company. What will you do? Are you just doing it because that's your job, or are you doing it because you're passionate, because this is also your company? All right. So I think that's where the entertainment part comes in, because they feel that they belong, they can talk freely, they have that freedom, to address our customers, and also maybe the questions that comes forward, yeah. So I suppose that's how we look into it, I would say, yeah. Mm-hmm.
which is amazing. I love that aspect, and the fact that there's so much honesty into it. And I think also on the flip side of that, I've spoken to quite a few of the international jewelry brands, in the past, as part of my career.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the key things that they always tend to hone in is trying to appeal to a new generation. It's always about longevity. Like, how do we attract a new generation? It's always trying to evolve and
Mm-hmm.
evolve and evolve, right? But now that we have live streaming, have you seen a new surge in customers, or like a new demographic, particularly with live streaming? And if so, which age group do you see?
I think with live streaming, there's no doubt that we have seen, I would say, a very wide range of customer age group that's coming in. Of course, I would say the younger generation, the Gen Z or the millennials, they are more savvy when it comes to things like this, right? But because of the pandemic, my generation, the baby boomers and all that, we are forced into going into this, right? And I think we've also learned that people had to go grocery shopping. They're forced into it because you can't go out, otherwise you don't eat, right? So because of that, every walk of life, every age group has started going live, and from there you start, what do you call this, searching, you start browsing around, you start, and then you go into platforms like Zalora, right? And I would say that the millennials, it has increased because of our merchandise mix as well. We do bring in very interesting. Our merchandising team, I say, have been working very hard as well, bringing in, coming up with merchandise that's very interesting for the millennials, and with the right price, affordability, and also we also sell things for the older generations, because the older ones, they know us, they trust us, so they have no problems buying something more expensive, from us, because they know what they're getting, right? Yeah. So because of our understanding with our customers as well, so when we see this new group of people coming in, as into platforms like Zalora, we are able to provide what they're looking for as well. But I must admit, along the way, we are also learning from them, right? And from comments from customers, and we improve ourselves, yeah, because it's all about learning both ways, we learn and customers learn from us too, right? Yeah.
That's wonderful to hear. It's interesting that you mentioned price affordability, because I think that's one of the key things that everyone is also concerned about, given our uncertainty at this point. So, in that sense, how do you think customers now perceive value in the wake of a pandemic? Have you noticed like any changes, in what products your customers are drawn to? Maybe they're a little bit more into necklaces now that we're doing a lot of these Zoom calls, or like earrings.
That's true. You see, with the pandemic, a lot of people saving a lot of money too, right? Because people are not traveling. So they save on flight tickets, they save on hotels, they save on what else? Food, maybe, Um, we discover that sometimes that um, I mean, the pandemic has taught us a lot of new things, really. Okay, so but people have also learned that with the extra money that they've saved, they feel that, oh, now I would like to own something of value, and it's like I said earlier, it's not just about adornment, but it's also about investment. So people don't mind now paying something, like you said, Zoom meeting. Yeah, I would like to wear beautiful earrings, for example. You can buy a piece of solitaire, that looks really nice when you're zooming, right? Or a slightly bigger flower earring or whatever, and pay slightly more because you want a good quality, because you do also have the excess savings, right? The money that you can put into things like this, because you're not distracted by the other things that you used to do, right? Yeah. So, and also because of the collections that we have as well, we provide like the different brands that we carry in our group, right? Yeah. And people are also now looking at modern and timeless designs, right? So, and we are able to come up with those designs very timely as well, So people are, um, how would I say it? Putting more emphasis or more awareness. There's more awareness in this, right? And that, oh, I should maybe now spend some money in a nice piece of jewelry, Yeah.
You mentioned that you learned a lot during this pandemic, or at least Habib have learned a lot during this pandemic. What would you say is the most surprising takeaway from all this?
Um, People are comfortable to purchase from us online because, the feedback we get, because they trust our brand. And yet at the same time, there are people who would come into our stores now that we can open the stores. They come into our stores, they come and browse, activity for them. They want to see, they put it on them, and then they go back and they order online. Yeah. Or the other way around, they see all this live streaming online, and then they decide that I want to go to one of the stores to see the products myself, feel it myself, and see whether I want to pay that kind of money, right? So it's seamless, actually. It's very seamless. The brick and mortar and the online selling is very seamless for us, And so sometimes, like I said, when we started with, 20 years ago, trying to sell online, and today, that is another surprising thing, that Malaysians in general are very open now on shopping online for even more expensive items, right? Yeah. And that you can actually do business in many ways, not not just standing in front of a customer and exactly, it's endless, really, yeah. And even the products, for example, we also have customers calling us personally to say that, oh, I watch your live, I'm getting married, do you have, it may not even be on the live or on the products offering, but they call us and, and say that, oh, I'm getting married, do you have, this thing or that thing, and we can direct them to wherever, right? Yeah. So, and before, I would say, from our surveys, some people will say that, oh, I've never walked into HABIB. I say, why? Because, oh, you look expensive because of our store itself. Remember, world class for less. We want to give you world class service, world class shopping experience, But some people feel they're not comfortable. But with this online shopping and live streaming, live chat and all that, people feel they're more comfortable and they're getting to know us better too. That, hey, actually, I can afford you, Yeah. So that is, yeah, the surprising part too.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because every time I go into a jewelry store, I feel intimidated, only because malu na ask for the price, I'm just kind of like shy to ask for a price, and I think maybe a lot of people could probably feel the same way. But there's always that sense of like awkwardness or like shyness, intimidation whenever you walk into a jewelry store. You're expected to like drop a big wad of cash right then. But with online, everything is transparent. So technically, you're actually opening up so many doors, to a lot of people, which I think is very, very cool. So I guess, on that note, I just want to say thank you, Datin Sri Zarida. Really amazing insights, I have to say. really amazing insights. I didn't think that, boomers, not, I mean, I lack for better word, would actually, embrace live streaming, all these new technological advancements. I find that really interesting
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Amy. It's been really interesting, and yeah, and I hope that Zalora and Habib can work together for even a brighter future. Yeah.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Datin.